Hello, my name is Eduardo Duran, and for my Kin 376 project, I'll discuss how to biomechanically increase your probability of winning at Squid Game. Okay, so this is the Squid Game's court. You have the attacking person start at point A. His or her goal is to reach point C. He or she cannot cross over any of the lines of the triangle or the box. His or her only method to enter is through point B at the bottom of the box. Once in the box, the attacker has to reach point C to win. There's a catch. The attacker can only do all of this on one foot. The only method to play on 2 feet is by crossing the bridge, which is by hopping from point E through F and onto the opposite E. Once the attacker reaches the second E, he or she can play the rest of the game on 2 feet. The defender's job is to stop the attacker and to stay within the box or entrance. We will now move on to 2 clips of 2 people playing the Squid Game. Okay, now let's slow that down. First, we will look at the hopping portion. In terms of biomechanics, we will look at impulse in this scene. Impulse is force times time elapsed. Force is mass times acceleration. Acceleration is change in velocity over time elapsed, with velocity being displacement divided by time elapsed. Her mass was 29.484 kilograms, and in the original video, it took 1 second to complete 3 hops. This means it took 0.33 seconds to complete 1 hop. And the displacement was about 5 inches, which converts to 0.127 meters. Plugging it all in resulted in an acceleration of 1.1453 meters per second squared. Then plugging it into the force formula and then into the impulse formula resulted in 11.25 newtons per second. This would be the impulse per second for the first hop. This means she has control of acceleration as long as she focuses more in terms of horizontal displacement over vertical cover. This is where ground reaction forces take place, where she could focus as much energy to press down at the ground at about a 45-degree angle with the ground to be most efficient. Now for the second clip, we will cover how the smaller person failed to overcome the bigger person. The major factor here is linear velocity, which is mass times velocity. As mentioned earlier, the smaller person's mass was about 29.484 kilograms, with her velocity being about 0.9144 meters per second. We decided this by figuring out that she covered about 3 feet, which converts to 0.9144 meters. Which was covered in 1 second of the video. This resulted in a 26.960 meters per second for her linear velocity. As for the second person, his mass is 70.307 kilograms. He covered about 2 feet, which converts to 0.6096 meters within 1 second, which resulted in a 0.6096 meters per second for his velocity, which resulted in a linear velocity of 42.824 meters per second. This obviously means that the bigger person had a bigger linear velocity despite having a smaller velocity than the smaller person. This was due to his mass. In order for the smaller person to beat the bigger person, she would have had to increase her current mass or velocity by 1.6320 times. This would result in a mass of 48.118 kilograms or a velocity of 1.4923 meters per second. This concludes my project, and I hope you enjoyed.